So hey guys, my name is Kevin,
And I'm Andres.
and I just want to make here a little quick introduction on who we are. Just basically a little bit about us is, of course, we're two young guys just trying to make it out the rat race, basically, and finding ways to improve the quality of life for us and loved ones, and hopefully help people by sharing our experience and vice versa, and just make it entertaining and easy to watch, and just basically have a good time and share our experiences.
Heck yeah. And we're actually recording this after the whole podcast. We didn't even know what it was going to be called. We decided already. The podcast is going to be called Brick by Brick. And this episode we're going to talk about our personal experiences with debt and savings and even like workplace environments and how to know like when to change or what's right for you.
Basically, that's about it, and just a little bit of experience about us, and yeah, hopefully you guys like it and would like to stay tuned in for next episodes.
Heck yeah. And yep, there goes the podcast.
There it goes.
There it goes.
Bye.
Bye.
Same shit.
So like, I actually think you're doing the best job out of both of us in doing the savings right now. Like, you went from the insurance job that was paying you half of what you're making right now, and I think that's a very big starting point. Getting out of a place where you're stuck and going into somewhere where you can make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like start applying for jobs that make you more money. And I saw that from an Alex Hormozi video, but I don't know, how do you feel like how do you feel like that has helped you right now and has put you in the place where you can be the most successful?
Honestly, man, it depends on a lot of things, right? So of course it's gonna be your own situation, right, and what your goals are. So you just kind of have to tailor that towards, you gotta find what your dream income is gonna be, and then you kind of, dude, we should just hand each other the But yeah, honestly, it's just like I said, this is gonna be the first podcast, so I want to focus on really actually hitting like the very principles. One of them is building wealth and using your income as one. That's going to be the biggest tool in my opinion. It's just trying to always keep your mind open towards jobs and stuff like that, and that's where you're actually clutched in. You kind of gave me a new perspective on it too, and because I don't know if y'all don't know, but he had a good paying job, and at the time the company was performing pretty well, right? Or can you expand on that?
Yeah, dude. So I was working at a job where I was making 6 figures, and I had made it from my first year for 6 figures, and that honestly launched everything for me. I was able to put a down payment for my house and start like renting a unit from it out, and then I moved it, and
I brought him up.
Kevin took me to, hey, we should go to we're about to get fucking
Geico.
I can blur this shit up. But I went with him to work with him, hoping to find something better and improve on a career path. But yeah, it was a great learning experience.
He definitely learned more than what he was learning at that other place. In terms of money, pretty much it wasn't there.
I took a pay cut for knowledge, but it was worth it.
It was worth it. I, in my opinion, at least, the knowledge is worth, because now he can apply those same skills to another job, which is gonna probably in the future he's gonna hit those 100K again, the 6 figures, and it's just a matter of time. But what you do with that money is very important. That's why, having financial literacy is very important, and understanding that your income is your number one tool first and foremost, because that's what you're actually using, to generate the wealth. But what do you think is the next point?
I think the next point that's very big is like doing the research and having a solid knowledge of how to stay away from living paycheck to paycheck. like you're saying, living below your means is super, super, super important. And well, if you're spending more than you're gaining, you're going into debt and not using that for your future. You're using that for your present.
100% agree. And the more you understand what you can do with your primary source of income, which is your job, even if you work at like, I don't know, Whataburger. I was pretty much getting paid what an employee at Whataburger gets paid, right? We were, and we still chose to somewhat invest that type of money. Of course, we still have bills to pay, so it can be very hard at times, but staying consistent with that can actually lead you to that 1K, and that's the first step to your 100K, your first 100K, which is like so glamorous and stuff. But I feel like no one has actually like started with the. Actually, now that I think about it, no one has done it, or that I've seen, starting with the first K, right? Like making a podcast on how to make the very first K.
Yeah, just save the income. I've had a lot of friends that work fast food since they were 16, and most of them weren't able to save up anything. It was just going out, buying shoes, buying clothes, buying a new phone. And there was a friend that I remember when I was 16, and he was able to save up like $2,000, and I thought that was crazy. So for that and having that much self-control, I think that's super respectable. And it's a start to learning how to live below your means and below what you're making.
Yeah, 100%. And I know most people, at least online, and this is one of the main reasons why we're sharing our experience, is they are already over the 100K. They're already making whatever amount of X money. But I feel like almost nobody shows like the very first steps, and that's why we're doing this in the first place. Kind of setting up the, I guess, video proof, you want to call it?
Yeah, like a journey.
Yeah, almost like a journey of setting the first 1K, and that's why going back to the other stuff that we were talking about, that's why you want to make sure you have your income be as high as possible, but also, like he said, living below your means, because that's going to open doors and opportunities. And if you don't have the income to chase those opportunities, then you might lose money in the long run. That opportunity might make you more money than not spending it in like shoes and stuff like that. But yeah, what do you think?
I think that's very true. And even in my situation with the house, I went a little overboard, and the payments were definitely more than I could afford, with the hope that renting the unit out would be enough to make up for it. But I had to just do a lot of extra work that I wouldn't have. And I'm thankful, like, if I didn't know, I would do it the same again, because it was a learning experience. That even though I'm still recovering from that, like, I have an asset now, and it's increasing in value consistently, and I'm getting like a rental income. But at the beginning it was super difficult, especially with like the low income that I had, and I had to do a bunch of extra hours in working DoorDash and things like that. But if I knew what I got into, I think I would have probably gone a little bit smaller, even though I don't regret it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And something that I applaud him a lot is actually doing something instead of just staying stuck. Because I know, and I'm going to put names out there, but I know someone who actually used to work with you that made the same amount of money, but if you look at their financial decisions, they were complete opposites. One has a house and the other one is in debt, like huge debt. And it's not even like useful debt, like,
Technically I'm in debt too, because I have a house.
But it's useful debt, you know what I mean? It's like something that you're leveraging in order to gain in the long run. Now, the other debt is taking money. It's making money for the banks, really. And it's not making money for you. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you about it later, who it is, but I think it's
That worked at Dish too.
It worked at Dish.
Shut the fuck up.
It's yeah,
Do I know?
I think so.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You never told me this?
No, I think you know.
Oh God.
I'll have to remind you.
Okay.
At least from what I understand, they're not doing very well. Or they incurred a lifestyle. That means cars, designer bags, and all of that shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything good with that money or anything useful. So they just increased their lifestyle. But then you know how Dish, went a little bit down.
Yeah.
Then their lifestyle stayed right here, and it's like that little
Lifestyle,
gap.
yeah.
Pretty much, put them in a financial burden. But that's, I guess, it depends. It's okay, getting into that. But as long as okay, I was in this situation before, but now I gotta improve and I gotta learn from this experience and get the out of it.
Thank you, man. And what I was looking at is how I was thinking when I was there, because I was still living with my parents, and I had a lot of I was saving 50 to 60% of my paychecks because I had no expenses at all. And
What was one of those checks looking like? Like, what was the amount?
I think
If you want to say.
the biggest was probably a $6,000 check. I think they taxed me $2,000 that paycheck.
So it was like 8,000?
No, it was a $6,000 paycheck, and then it ended up going down to $4,000. That was the saddest moment of my life, man.
And it was like, you got paid twice a month, right? So that was for 2 weeks?
Yeah, that was for 2 weeks.
Jeez.
And
So
then
technically you made around 10 to 12
it was
K.
like a
Yeah.
9.5 month. But what I was thinking, and I was looking at the money that I had saved up, and it was just chilling in the bank account, losing money and not doing anything. And I was like, I think the biggest mindset that I had was this could all go away someday. So I need to fucking
Put it
move
into
it. I need to put it into something, and that's why I went with a really big house that was over my capabilities at the moment, because I just wanted to put it into something so that it wasn't just getting dust there. But yeah, I think that's super big, and yeah, just having the mindset to grow and not stay.
For our viewers, would you like to provide a little bit of an explanation on, because you say a big house, but I feel like big is different for everyone.
I think just in general, big being more than what I could afford. And I think a lot of finance people have this pretty well explained. They say that a house should your house payment should be 40% of your income. And mine was 60, 70, and then from taking a pay cut, it ended up being 120% of my income. So that's why I had to end up doing DoorDash and a bunch of stuff, which isn't a super good thing to be doing, but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I did it because I had to, not because I wanted to have. Yeah, I did it to catch up instead of to get ahead.
Yeah.
So right now I want to actually start that again when I get my car. I want to start doing DoorDash again to get that extra income or get a side hustle, because I have a lot of free time. I have these weekends off, so that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because we have a bunch of free time, and
At least for now.
and we have to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
That's important.
Exactly. Always staying busy and always, trying to learn, always reading books and stuff like that, to try to better your financial literacy. And we as young people, honestly, we have it very bad. Not gonna lie. Back in I want to say maybe, I don't know, less than the 90s, 80s, 70s, your income to owning a house
I'm
ratio.
about to fact check you, so hard. Hold it.
No, this is facts because I've heard it from multiple sources. But it was a lot smaller. The ratio between people being able to afford a house versus what the houses were back then, it was a lot smaller. And now we as people, younger generation, we can't afford a home because the gap is just so huge in between wages and what they're actually valued at. And you can either choose two things. You can either one, cry about it and just do nothing about it and just let the economy go its way, or you can actually start making more money and try and better your skills and try and actually gain more wage. What did you find?
I found that you're spitting facts, bro. Like,
And this is a chart that I can show.
yeah, we have it right here on ChatGPT. Here, you wanna talk about it?
So it's
Get into it, because that's super interesting because things have been becoming like super unaffordable
so
as of like 2022.
exactly.
Like, you can go down, like it gives you an unaffordability that's too much, like right there.
Okay.
A ratio above 5.0 is considered unaffordable in many economic studies.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, in 1980, the median home price was $47,000. That's what like the average home was, and what the person was making back then, or the household income, was 17,000. So that's around a ratio of 2.7. Nowadays, or at least in 2024, the ratio when it comes to that is 5.6. So houses are worth a lot more. Right now, that same median is around 417,000, and the wages are around 75K. So that gives you, it actually almost doubled.
Dude, that's crazy. The median household income is 75 grand.
Exactly.
I don't think I know anyone like personally that is over 40 to 50K.
Exactly. And so, if you want to, for me to put it simple for you, at least visually, is like this was the gap between, you know, being able to, what you got paid. This is what you got paid, and this is what the home was.
I'm gonna edit
So
a
it was-
screenshot of this shit.
You can put it like over here. Yeah, you can put it over there. But this was the gap.
I don't even know
Now,
if I can do that.
nowadays it's this. So it's a lot, you know, a lot steeper. So that's why a lot of people are getting into debt to, you know, try and get as early as you can.
This shit doesn't even work, by the way.
This is it's decoration purposes.
Yeah, it's just
But it's
aesthetic.
cool to have it. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's
Egg
super
press.
sus, bro. Pause.
Always be making it sus, I swear. But yeah. What's your next point?
Dude, I don't even know. Let me open this note.
Should we do the not getting into that?
I'm not getting into that. I think that's pretty important. Do you think that's even important?
It depends. It really depends. Like your type of debt is good debt, but like a car loan, that's bad debt.
Yeah, let's
Because-
talk about not getting into a car loan.
Let's talk
And I
about
think
cars, yeah.
I think you can help a lot on that, bro.
So I had a terrible experience with getting into car debt. Well, I wouldn't say terrible, but it was a learning.
No, it was
experience.
terrible
Yeah.
experience. But it was a learning experience.
It's a very good learning experience. So basically, at the time, I think it was like 3 years ago that I got the car. It's I was looking for a car. So I didn't have a car at the time, and I was barely starting my credit. And then, well, I went to number one mistake was I was young first and foremost, and I went to a dealership. Now, that alone should have been like, but anyways, I went to the dealership.
That's
So
where I got introduced to sales.
that's where I
First
started
thing.
learning about sales. But basically, what happened after that was that I got into this car loan, right, for a very nice car. Honestly, I would say. Thing is, it's a German car, so when it comes to durability, I would say it's questionable. If you have to really know what you're doing in order to keep up with the maintenance. And yeah, I mean the car was already high on mileage, so but I was thinking of like how it looked because I really care about impressions. That's my second biggest mistake is I care about impressions. I could have gone something that was American and that the parts were a lot cheaper, maintenance was a lot more affordable, but I didn't. And so I got into debt, and then the car actually within, I want to say 8, maybe 9 months, started breaking down. The engine started going bad on me. And I just recently had to get it replaced, and man, did that hurt my pocket. It was like, I think in total, bro, I think it went all the way to like 6,000 with like other, it was the engine itself, but then the engine has like engine mounts that the engine goes into, and those were broken.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So camera died. We pretty much wrapping this up, right? But when it comes to my experience, just to finish it off, I had a really bad experience when it comes to loans. So I kind of had to figure out how those worked, as well as car maintenance. I learned a lot with that as well, and how that pretty much trained me for future cars that I buy. We'll touch more on those. That way, you get to hear our experience when it comes to cars and loans and all of that. But yeah, you have anything to say?
Yeah. We'll try to upload weekly. But the goal of the podcast is more so to share like the experiences that we've had with money and how we've gotten to places, and share our experiences in the future, since we're both on the journey still, and hopefully with some of you guys. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to comment here, like on the comment section below. But we will, yeah, we're pretty much trying to relate to you guys. We're as well in our 20s, so we're trying to, win in life as well. And
I just kicked the trash can
out of the trash can.
Hey, what the heck? That thing flew.
But yeah, pretty much that's about it. We just want to post our experience here and then see if other people relate to us or what we can improve as well. Not only you guys, but yeah, this will be the first of many, and hopefully you guys like it to where you can watch us weekly, right?
Heck yeah, let's get it.
Heck yeah, let's get it. Thank you so much, and until next week. Bye.
Hey, I appreciate that. ¿Se puede conectar ese acá?
Fuck no, it's just there for decoration, dude.